Hi everyone, this is Rals. Welcome to another Inside Jungle episode. Today I'm going to create my first ever terrarium. I feel like an alchemist with all these jars and bottles and different ingredients. So let's get a closer look to what we need for creating a terrarium. I have here cocoa peat instead of sphagnum moss because this is the responsible thing to do. Regular peat, which I use as a soil base for all my indoor plants and can be used also in terrariums. And for this terrarium type only, we're actually going to replace this peat with aquarium soil. Then we have some sand, activated carbon, small pebbles, and of course some different repurposed jars. Let's not forget about the main piece, which is going to be a beautiful aquarium plant called Ludwigia Repens Rubin. My husband asked me if I wanted because it was already growing outside the water level for several weeks and he had to trim it. Guess what my answer was? New plant experiment, yay! Oh, another resource we need are a couple of aquarium tools borrowed from my husband. A pair of straight tweezers and one of bent tweezers. I'm going to call this aquatic plant Rubin in short. I had to cut the stems in such a way that I left on the stem some aerial roots. Let me try to show you my capture. I have here 5 beautiful Rubin plants with a dark brownish green color on top of the leaves and a burgundy red underside, hence the name. You can also notice the aerial roots. This plant actually grows with both soil-bound roots and aerial roots from its axils. The only trouble is that these stems are too long for my tiny repurposed jars, so I have to cut them shorter. Now it's time to mix and match the stems with the jars according to their size. While we are going to prepare the layers of substrate, we are going to place the Rubin stems back into the water to keep them hydrated. Look at them. Aren't they beautiful? They are gorgeous. Layering time. We are starting with a layer of sand placed in all the jars. Make sure the layer is visible, not just a thin film, but do not exaggerate with the amount. You will have several layers at the end, and you still need to have some space for your plant or plants if you decide to use more. Now don't you dare to make fun of me. I have to compact the layer of sand and all I could find nearby was this back of this watering syringe. After the sand, we should place a layer of some larger pebbles, but as I don't have any, I will just use some tiny pebbles instead. After the pebbles, we need to prepare a mesh of sorts or stocking, but I only have my old gardening friend, the mosquito net. It comes handy one more time. Let me give you a tip of how to place perfectly the mesh or the net inside the terrarium. You just have to bend it in two and then use the tweezers and adjust its position. So basically you have to open it inside the jar. After this borderline, let's say, we place a thin layer of activated charcoal and try to level it up. Next comes the cocoa peat. I was telling you in a previous video that I'm strongly suggesting all gardeners to use cocoa peat instead of sphagnum moss as an environmental friendly resource. On top of the cocoa peat comes the last layer formed of the aquarium soil. And finally, the moment we have all been waiting for, inserting the plants. This is the moment we use the borer tweezers. I have to be gentle with these Rubin stems as I don't want to damage the aerial roots. I'm covering also the roots with soil as they need all the help they can get while adjusting to their new environment, and then soak the layers in water. At the end, I'll add more water, maybe a couple of inches or so, for the plants to develop new sets of aerial roots. And this is it, guys. We took an extremely beautiful aquarium plant that was growing above the water level in my husband's aquarium and experiment with it in two types of terrariums, open and closed. I have used 5 repurposed jars, out of which 2 will be closed with lids. On the course of the next several days and weeks, I will monitor the health of these Ludwigia Repens Rubin aquatic plants in their new ecosystems. Let's keep the finger crossed that our plant experiment is a successful one. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any terrarium updates. Also, hit the bell button so you will be notified of any new terrarium ideas, plant care videos and more plant experiments. Thank you for watching, stay happy, healthy, and see you next week.